there comes a point on everyone's weight loss journey where eventually you get sick and tired of the next fad, the next quick fix. And though it would be amazing to have instantaneous weight loss, there's a part of you that doesn't want to go back to the restrict, doing all the hard things, only to know that you will gain it back again. The name of today's podcast is How to Lose the Weight for Good, and I'm excited for this one. So let's dive in. I am inspired to share on the day that I'm recording this podcast. Again, I am live in our Facebook group. I saw that a bunch of you joined last week. That makes me so happy. I hope you downloaded the free training. You text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483. That is you're tagged as soon as you join the group with that number. So don't worry about memorizing it. Just head over to Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss community on Facebook. Answer a few quick questions. We'll give you access. You'll immediately get access to that free training, and you'll be able to watch these live podcasts and get the latest updates. And I'm posting inspiring content all the time. I actually have a bunch of things that I'm posting coming up that I'm really excited about, because these are answers to questions to a survey that I did, and the questions were really important and needed to be answered. And so if you get my emails, you've started to see some of those questions be answered. Definitely open emails for me as they're coming up or as you're getting them. And those posts will be up on the Facebook group as well. Today is Friday, the day that I'm recording this podcast. And on Fridays, I prompt my clients to share their wins in their private Facebook group and to celebrate their successes. And I have been overwhelmed these last couple of weeks with client wins and what they're really up to. And what better way to talk about how you can lose weight for good than to actually give you those real-time results and what's actually going on behind the scenes that allows people to feel confident that when they are losing their weight, that it is not just a temporary fix, because we are really working from the inside out to create those solutions. So prior to my sharing specific client wins from the last couple of weeks, I want to share about the most addictive substance in our society. And it's even more addictive than alcohol, more addictive than drugs. Actually, research shows that it's actually just as addictive as methamphetamine. So highly addictive, and how it's affecting all of us from actually living our best lives, from receiving all the abundance on this earth, and more. And I'm going to be doing a deeper dive on this at our next upcoming masterclass. By the time this episode airs, I'm not sure if the masterclass will be done yet, but if you are watching live, it is on November 18th. It's actually on a Tuesday this month at 1 p.m. Eastern. There will be a replay available. So you can head over to hpwl.info/masterclass. It is geared towards leaders, whether you see yourself as a leader at home with your family or at work. And, the reason I'm doing that is because I find that who relates the most to the work that we're doing and who is able to achieve the best results are those who are in that kind of leadership position. So, head over hpwl.info/masterclass to register for this upcoming event, November 18th, where I'm going to dive even deeper into the science behind the most addictive substance on earth. And sneak peek of what that is, it is actually cortisol. Cortisol, so the stress hormone. And as a quick snapshot, here's what I need you to understand. First of all, I will share that you yourself are only in charge and only able to control your own space, your own actions, your own energy, your own thinking, your own. That's the only thing that you can actually control. And depending on our upbringing, some of us, love wasn't received in ways that would have been beautiful, or maybe there was actually some type of trauma or abuse that happened. And as there could also, be narcissism in the family, codependency, neglect, absence, whatever that could look like. And so since our needs weren't being met as children, then we come up with ways to feel that feeling of love, which when cortisol spikes in the body, it actually gives us that feeling of love, of safety, of connection. And so what ends up happening is that we actually start to try to control, because one thing that causes dopamine to spike is actually control. So you might be someone who's wanting to fix other people, or point out the mistakes of other people, or advise other people what is the wrong thing that they're doing and the right thing that they're doing and what they should do. You might have a lot of judgment about how other people live their lives. You may still have disagreements with your parents, with siblings, with upbringing, and so this creates this patterning. So cortisol, when you're doing that, then okay, that's a way to survive. In order for me to feel safe, in order for me to feel love and connection, which all human beings need, the way that I get that is to control. Now, another way that you can control is to try to control your weight, try to control your eating, try to control something that's on the outside so that you can feel safe. So consider that the dieting and the constant thinking about food and how you can lose the weight now is another way for you to try to control, aka produce cortisol, aka feel safe, aka get your addictive hit. So once the cortisol goes up, then dopamine comes out, the happy drug. Okay, good. Like I got it out, like I was able to say my piece to my sibling and tell them they're wrong, or, be righteous and I'm right. Or I was able to control my eating and be perfect following that plan and ticking every box and going after that next goal. So dopamine hits, and that's how I can stay happy. Well, as soon as that dopamine leaves the body, then there is just a crash. And we feel like failures, and it just comes out. And then we feel really uncomfortable because we've run out of that drug, which, it's just that chemical. And so what do? We have to create that drama again to produce dopamine again. So you have to continue to meddle in other people's business. You have to continue going and, being upset about your weight. You have to continue looking and chasing the next best fast fix and weight loss. And you need to keep looking to see how you can, achieve and hit that next target and all of that. And trust me, that has been the journey that I have learned and have been learning how to wean off and to get healthy and to get out of that drama circle. So this is the vicious cycle of weight loss, but it's also this is also the same thing that causes people to stay in unhealthy relationships for a long period of time. So if you grew up in this kind of dramatic, couldn't get your needs met environment, your body, it gets just addicted to that pattern. It's like, that's a sense of safety. This is how I stay safe, is when there continues to be this drama, there continues to be this, whether it's food, body, weight drama or relational drama. And so that's why we'll end up just staying looping. I heard this that was so cool this week to me, a video, and this woman said that the way, just presenting this question to your, if someone said this to you, I can tell how much you love yourself based on the relationship that you're in. So freaking fascinating, because your initial reaction to that statement, I can tell how much you love yourself based on the person that you're with. You might feel inside like immediate. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, what a compliment, because he is so loving and kind. And like, that is like such a mirror of like, who I am and the work that I've done. But there has been relationships in my past where if someone said that, it would have felt like a bit of a slap in the face or an insult. And the reason why is because deep down inside, we know that they are not a representation of love and kindness. So there's no judgment either way. But anyway, so I just think that's fascinating because it really does give us so much information as far as, how much of the inner stuff there still is yet to accomplish based on those reactions to that. So we'll end up staying in relationships, and it's a mirror to, maybe the love that we didn't get as children or of the work that we've done. And that's a beautiful thing. So this is, again, why we'll stay. You could look at your diet or constant trying to fix yourself and your food or whatever as kind of like a way to stay in the drama, a way to stay in the abusive relationship, a way to stay in that chasing that dopamine in that loop, because that's how you get those feelings that you need in order to feel safe. It's innocent, but you will continue to stay in that space until you actually do something drastically different, until you actually go towards creating peace for yourself. Basically taking back control over your life, your environment, and that includes your relationships with other people. It also includes your relationship with yourself. A lot of the work that my clients do are both of the relationships that they have with other people in their life. They'll come and, these are great, successful, kind, up to something human beings, worthy, deserving, capable, smart, best intentions people. And there will still be underneath the hood relationship issues, siblings, parents, children, grown children, spouses. And all of that kind of left in that space of continuing to have the drama or the triggers come up, the upsets come up, contributes to your health outcomes. It contributes to, if those things are left undealt with and love isn't found within those hangups in those relationships, well, that's going to wreak havoc on the body. It's going to cause stress in the body, right? The cortisol is going to come on and, right? Anyway, and then you're going to go after the food, or you're not going to take care of yourself as well as you need to. So that's kind of the external work. And then the internal work of recognizing the war that is going on in your mind, of being hard on yourself and judging yourself and shaming yourself and blaming yourself and criticizing yourself. And consider that the diet and the perfect and following it perfectly is a way to not have to experience those things. But that is a band-aid fix, because you know that there's going to be times when you're not perfect on the diet. Well, then now all of that stuff that you haven't actually dealt with, you've just put a band-aid on it and not actually been healing it, is still going to come out, and it is impacting how far you are capable of going in your life, how much love you are capable of manifesting, how much abundance is waiting for you outside of that. A lot of the people I've been following lately have been bringing up Bible scripture readings on how, we're not actually, as human beings, like, it is not God's will to have us be worrying. It is not God's will to have you suffer. Like, you are not meant to, regardless of your religious beliefs, like any spiritual text, like in no book does it say you will be rewarded for hating yourself and feeling shitty about yourself and trying desperately to achieve that goal all the time. Like, no, it's more like, believe in me and you will receive the kingdom of heaven, like, let go of worry. Like, your heart's desires, when they're lined up with the greater good, with God's purpose, like, they will instantly be met. Like, there's so much. So how do we actually get our brain to get out of those drama things within ourself and the hard on ourself stuff and create that opening in that space? I have one client, Michelle, who was on a couple of episodes ago, and she stated how she feels like she has so much more space in her mind now. So when we're stuck in that drama cortisol loop, there's no space to feel your body and to know when you're hungry or not hungry. There's no space to think about what you want and your dreams and, what really matters to you underneath the surface. There's no space for that. So it's like, we have to do what we need to do to clear out this space. And some of that is through the unconscious work of doing the hypnosis. Some of that is actually taking action in your life and changing things happening in your life with relationships, with work, etc., to actually create an environment externally of peace. Even work in your closet and on your wardrobe and like everything in your space to be able to step out of that drama, same old loop, and to be able to receive abundance, to do that. And then once you are actually doing the real work and working on the root cause of why you're eating and why, right, you're so hard on yourself and why you're scared of gaining weight and why you fear about what other people think and why you fear going to those social events and why you fear, getting into a relationship and seeing, and feeling like you're too fat for the relationship and rejection and why, and on and on and on, like, and actually get what you need to, like, both consciously and unconsciously release all of that. Well, now you're a changed person because you've created space. Now you have an opening to actually take care of yourself, there's more peace. And naturally, you don't need to latch onto the diet and quickly go back and, right, go into some of that reactionary mode that's from that old cycle because you're, really handling it. And it's true healing. It's true peace. It's true finding joy, an emotion that have gotten lost, but we all deserve to feel it. It is our natural essence as humans to actually be in joy. Like, ask yourself the question, like, how often do I feel like I'm actually in a state of joy? When I was still dieting and in this, I didn't even know what joy felt like. Literally, I had no idea what joy felt like anymore. I stripped it out of my life. And you have to actually do, some fun work to discover what that is for you or to bring that back in. And when your body is in a state where that's not fight or flight, when you're not full of cortisol, like, your body functions better. It can release the weight on its own without, all the things. And I think that's something that's commonly, like, if we believe that our bodies won't lose weight if there is so much stress and you're just like a chemical cocktail of stress all the time. It's like, I told a client yesterday, it's like trying to tell a tree how tall it should be and how fat its trunk should be. Like, it's like, you're already, there's a blueprint for your body and for your height and for your things. Like, how silly is it to try to tell a tree how skinny it needs to be? Like, what? Anyway, can go all the way into the things. So let me share with you some of these amazing things that I've heard over the last couple weeks from clients of mine. So just this morning, I talked to a client. She is about 6 weeks into her program, I think, 5. I'm going to sneeze. Phew. And she is down 6 pounds. And her goal at the beginning of the program was to be down 10 pounds. Now, this is not with her dieting or depriving or restricting. She was like, I had pizza last night for dinner, and that was fine. I had some Halloween candy at Halloween, and I've still lost weight. Like, if someone told me when I was coming straight out of all my dieting stuff that I could still lose weight and have pizza and Halloween candy, I would have said, you're crazy. Like, it's just not biologically possible. It is, okay? Because we're actually stepping into feeling good and creating that. So again, as always with my clients, that wasn't the first thing that she shared with me about her wins. You know, it was, let me actually pull up what her specific ones were from today. 6 pounds down, and nice. Managing work better, where she's actually having more confidence at work to go towards tough conversations and feeling empowered in that, and not getting as stressed out. She was able to she got an unexpected big bill. Something happened at her house, and things went out as a major repair that was needed, and she already manifested in that same amount of money that was there because of and she didn't spiral down. She didn't go and eat a bunch of food. She actually was able to maintain her good feelings, stay in faith, and she could see how God already has provided that amount of money to her. Her relationship with her husband, and the biggest thing is the food freedom. Like, she's having food. There's not the drama that's around there for her with that. And that was some of her wins this week. Let's see. Another woman who recognized that she was still carrying her dad's grief, and there was a part of her mind that wasn't letting go of the sadness because she thought she was letting go of dad. And through one of my really powerful NLP techniques, was able to see that and separate just the feeling of sadness and the memory of dad. They did not need to be together, and that sadness was bogging her down and holding her back. So now being able to have the energy to go do her walks and enjoy nature and get herself back into that higher level feeling for herself. Let's see, who else did I speak to? Another woman last night talking about, here, I actually have some of her notes. Let me not try to paraphrase. Distinguishing between just recognizing her triggers, and her specifically was with her mom and her sister. And she was like, I feel like I'm able to actually handle those situations maturely now. I'm not getting triggered. I'm not getting activated. I'm not getting in the defense mode. And I'm having a deeper connection with my mom than I've ever been able to have, because I'm actually able to be with her and listen to her. And it's because I'm actually giving myself what I need. And this is what happens is, like, our younger parts of ourself will get activated in these relationships. And so it prevents us from having love and affinity, because we're still trying to extract from these people appreciation, love, understanding, all these things. So she's really recognizing, where she was still codependent and needing to take care of other people, just so she could feel good about herself. And, and just being able to have pizza and wine, on a Friday night with her kids, and not have that be something that is so dramatic. And just the lightness of being that happens as I'm working with clients over time, and it's within a month where I even told her, like, when she first came onto the call, it felt like she was just so constricted and so, and still, like, so smart, like, to me, I always see just how every person is perfect, whole, and complete, but, like, just stuck in that. And, now just, like, she's flowing, and there's, like, a light coming out of her. And even the woman I talked to this morning on the last call I saw her on this week, like, there's like a light, like a freedom, like an energy, like it's just that expansion. And that is, right, the getting out of that old addicted to that unhealthy cycle and starting to actually take control. The only thing you can take control of, which is your own space, and just feeling like there is space to actually focus on you. And that is what's required. Is you must actually, if you always are putting other people first before yourself, you actually have to break that pattern and put yourself first. Have to. And you have to take time for yourself consistently to do whatever work you need to do, again, on the internal, with hypnosis, with doing the NLP tools, to create that space and release any of those triggers or any of those emotions. And not so you dwell in it, not so that you're staying there, but so that you can actually create enough space, have your energy start to come up into a higher, right, energy state of more, towards joy and enthusiasm and hope and peace. And then from there, we make better decisions. And that was something that she said that she saw herself doing. She's like, I am recognizing that now I am responsible for my own energy, that I can change my energy and my thinking at any time. And as soon as I do that, I make better decisions, both food decisions and, relationship decisions, of communication, ways of communicating. If you've ever done your best, like if you are such a caring, loving person and you see yourself as a leader in your family or at work, and you go and you try to, and you think you're doing the right thing, you're saying, this is what you need to do, right? So my story is, before I had healed this and seen this for myself, since I knew so much about health, I would see other people who might have diagnoses in my family, and I'd be like, here's the literature, here's what you need to do, like you have to do this, like, oh my gosh, like, here's the like I'd constantly be shoving things down their throat, kind of what they needed to do, and kind of that panic button, like urgency, you need to do this now. And I was like, this is my responsibility, like I have to do this, like they need to know what they don't know, like their life is at risk, and right, as a nurse, and this is my job and I need to let them know this. And so, but how you can tell is that what feedback you get. So in NLP, we talk about how the meaning of communication is what you get back, of what communication comes back. So it didn't come back. It did not feel good coming back. Like it was like pushback and defensiveness and, Leslie, stop, and that is a telltale sign that you have some opportunities to look at that. So what came up for me was recognizing, like, oh, in order, like, for me to not feel the pain of losing family members early, because maybe they're going to die early because of something they don't know, in order for me to not feel guilty about it, I need to try to control them, and what they're doing. And it takes, right? So sometimes this is the unpacking that we're doing of like, what is my role as a leader, family member? How can I communicate this in a way that does work? And what are the boundaries on what I need to do or say, or, all of that. And then what inner work do I need to do on myself to help me manage the fact that, hey, it's actually me that's scared about their death. Like, that's my shit that I need to look at. I'm projecting my fears onto these people and trying to control them, and that doesn't work. So, yes. Amazing just to see her, because she's just immediately recognizing when she has emotions come up. She's using the tools every single time. She was emotional with me, saying like, oh my gosh, like I'm abusing me by staying in those angry dynamics. I'm depriving myself of love and connection because of me continuing to stay in these, emotional states that don't feel good, and me trying to control. So the dieting is just a manifestation of trying to grasp straws and control what you can control when you can't control what you're actually trying to control, which is also part of the problem. This is killing us as a society. Okay, so cortisol is the main reason that all diseases happen. It causes inflammation in the body. So long term of just sitting in cortisol, whether it's you stressed about continuing to try to lose weight and trying to get it off fast, that's part of the drama cycle and loop that isn't working, or trying to control other people, trying to control your environment, like that is killing us. It's right. So diseases are caused by inflammation, autoimmune diseases, cancers, like all of this stuff inside of a body. Also infertility. I asked my sister, who's older than me, and I was just like, do you see a pattern between your friends who are like kind of like calm about getting pregnant and like, they're not attached to it, and the ones who are like, need to get pregnant, scared that I won't get pregnant. What if I'm too old? What if this? What if that? And she was like 100%. She's like, my friends who are just like, we're just, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Like they get pregnant instantly. And the ones who are like grasping at it, and you'll see this happen all the time where it's like as soon as people give up on something, that's when the manifestation comes in. So it's a major, major issue, right? It's also the reason why people stay in abusive relationships. It's the reason, that there's war in the world, is because people are just constantly in a big trigger state and drama, and they need to continue. And it's like probably because they're still trying to get love from dad, or they're trying to, protect themselves from mom criticizing them. And then they blow a gasket, and kill the world. So this is the biggest issue on our planet right now. And yeah, so actually choosing to put yourself first and learn how to create that space within your body and in your mind and create that peace is a very worthy cause. And again, there is so much. You have no idea what's outside of that for you. Like deeper love and connection and more fulfilling day-to-day life and peace and joy and abundance. You getting to do things and experience things in your life that you never thought you were going to get to do. Like love is the vibration that attracts all of this. And if you don't have self-love, if you are hard on yourself, if you get mad at yourself when you fall off track, and like that is part of the problem. And a lot of my clients, may also experience challenges with the state of our current political system right now. And it's like, we've all heard, whatever that quote is about, like, if we want peace outside, like it starts with us, whatever that is, right? And so if you are having a war inside your mind, then you are also contributing to the war out in the world. And you can't control the world. You can't control what's happening. You can control your inner state. And what if that's enough? What if that changes just whatever that you touch, whether it's how you show up at work and how you can lead, how you can be with your husband. Oh my goodness. I started watching that Love is Blind show. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I highly invested in all my stuff to understand about men and women and the differences between both and just relationship dynamics. And it would prevent so much of this cortisol and drama stuff that's happening in these relationships if we could just fully get what's going on and learn how to communicate and know our differences and respect them and work together. Like, it's everything. Learning how to be in relationship with ourselves and other people in our environment and in our body. It's everything. So I'll end with I think this is how I'll end with my one client that I talked to this week. She's been working with me for several months. And, oh God, I have such a appreciation, could sound strange at first, but for death. Obviously, when it's someone close to us and, It's so sad, and it's right, the grief, and just how it can. I heard this really cool thing in case anyone here is experiencing grief. I shared it with a client and I just loved it, but described as like grief is like a stone that after the event happens, imagine like you put it in your pocket, and every single day as you do your life, you're still aware that there's a stone in your pocket. Like it's not that it never goes away, that the stone is in your pocket and you can feel it. You're still living your life, but you know there's a stone in your pocket. And talking about how we can get stronger. So you get stronger, you grow, all this, but the stone still stays the same size. And so the grief never changes, the size never changes, but you get stronger. And yeah, I think that can just be a really helpful metaphor to just like own, the fact that grief is what it is. Anyway, I remember this is the first time I wrote a blog about this. I'd have to I don't even know where that would exist, on some blog site from 2013 when I was first starting getting my coaching certification. But a friend of mine committed suicide, whether it was intentional or unintentional. I know suicide is intentional, but there was a little bit of question mark if it was a little bit accidental. But anyway, probably intentional. And I remember in the days after, with the shock and the grief, he was somebody that I meditated with. And he hired me to do hypnosis for him for smoking. And he really changed my life because he was so open-hearted. There was one time where my family loves Talking Heads, the band. And there was a Talking Heads cover band that was in our town. And we brought my mom, and it was like, really, small concert venue, like lots of people packed in. So like not her normal space, at least, that I've seen her in too much, but she's fun and cool. Anyway, my friend was there. And he was just so like welcoming and so helpful. And I think he like got everybody a drink, including my mom, and like was just so gracious. And like, he always just shared like his authentic, anyway, like, love this guy and like want the best for him. I'm getting emotional. Anyway, in the days after, I remember feeling, oh God, because I had clients on my calendar and my whole relationship to my calendar changed. And I was looking at the names of my clients that were on the calendar and feeling like, I'm so thankful that I get to connect with these awesome beings. Like my relationship to work changed. Like everything just became like so thankful for every single moment and person I spoke to and day. So there's just I wrote a blog about how just like simultaneously so grateful for the person who passed away for us so that we can come together and we can connect more and we could remember how precious this life is and focus on what really matters and let go of the rest. So the client just experienced loss, and she found herself in a similar space to what I'm describing. And the beauty in that of like, wow, what really matters is like, she was like, I don't want to keep chasing and trying to get the next goal and trying to lose the next amount of weight and trying to have the perfect body. Like, what even is the ideal perfect body? What is that? And then I know, this is from her, like that if I achieve that, it'll just be still the next thing immediately that I have to. She's like, I'm sick of the chase. And how much chasing does it take before we just get exhausted? Because it'll be a never ending chase. I think I had a podcast episode where I talked about the difference between happiness and contentment. And she was like, I just want to feel content and I want to feel at peace. And she's like, honestly, that's been the goal the entire time. But those programs and that addiction to the cortisol and the performance, and I need to always be going, and the next thing, like that's why it feels like a never-ending rat race, and why it's so exhausting to try to lose weight all the time, or try to be perfect all the time, or try to hit that next goal all the time, is because it is an addiction. And it's more addictive than meth. I remember that when right before hypnosis came into my life, and I believe that was divine timing, that I was Googling how to achieve inner peace. And that to me was all I ever wanted. And there is a difference between choosing peace and choosing joy and choosing contentment, and knowing that it's time to put yourself first and do whatever it takes to create more space and self-love and peace in your life. And then from that space, from that place of there being more space, to actually be like, hey, me starting to, do this a little bit more for my health, or do this a little bit more, for working out and moving my body, like, is the way that I'm going to be able to maintain peace and contentment in my life. There's a big difference in that. My computer just went black, so I just want to make sure that everybody can still hear me. I think we're trying to come back on here. So that's the refinement piece that happens for my clients as they continue to work with me. I think we've been able to roll that whole time. Good. Now that she's over the major hump, it's about the first 8 weeks that we're really working through some of those really like bigger triggers and fears and anxieties, and giving you the tools that you need to kind of like lower that reactivity and like the stress response, and then giving you the triggers on purpose so that you can actually raise your emotional threshold. And then it's around, okay, and how do we now give you what you need to have this lasting self-care happening, this lasting peace? And it's different than what you've done before. There's no throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Like, any major decision that you're making to be like, I gotta completely stop that, or completely never have that thing, or I need to really work on losing this weight quick. Like, that energy is not actually authentic, and it's actually the energy that causes more restriction. It is not the true abundance essence that is possible and wanted for each of us. It is fear, scarcity, and lack. And it is part of the problem, and it's part of the addiction, and it's part of the looping, and it's part of why we can never actually lose weight long term. So refining those things of like, okay, where are the places now that takes your peace away? Anything in your environment. It's like, oh, okay, well, this conversation happened at work that made me feel bad. Great, let's give you what you need to look at that and tweak this. Okay, well, I've been feeling a little bit lack of energy, and I feel like I want to, lighten up in some of my eating. Great. What would be a way that you could do that doesn't feel like a diet? What would be a way you could do that feels actually like it brings more peace and abundance into your life? That's just like a small tweak versus these major, big decisions. That's what we're refining, okay, through the HEAL method. So hypnosis, emotional mastery, aligning to your authentic self, stepping into that abundance place, and then learning lasting self-care and tweaking it over time. The people who do the best know that this is not a quick fix, that there's no such thing as one. They're playing the long game. They're lifelong learners, and they're seeking that coaching. And they're valuing that for themselves so that they can get on the fastest, most efficient way to their results. So just know that that's possible for you as well. And if you feel ready for that, then let's do that. Book a call, hpwl.co/apply. I'm here for you. There's questions to answer. We'll get on the phone, we'll unpack it, and then tell you how you can join us. Let's not wait. I just joined a program myself, and she said, we don't wait till the new year. There's never a perfect time to start putting yourself first. There will always be a reason to put yourself off. So just start, take the first action for yourself, get into the pattern and programming of putting yourself first. Your abundance, your peace, your joy, it's all waiting for you, but it's outside of this addictive loop that is just chasing weight loss. If you want to lose weight for good and permanently, you have to actually put yourself first and intentionally take time for yourself to heal this at the root. It's possible. I love you. Thank you so much for being a listener. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Ready to finally break free from the diet hamster wheel and create lasting transformation? I've put together a free hypnosis training just for you, where I break down why diets keep failing, the mindset shifts you need to stop the cycle, and how to rewire your subconscious for true effortless change. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483 and I'll send it to you instantly. You don't have to keep struggling. Real freedom starts now. Take the first step. Text the word hypnosis to 1-855-232-5483.